Hello and welcome to Let's Talk with Lee Peart. This is my podcast. This is my first ever podcast, my first episode. I'm very excited. Please get in touch if you have a story to tell. This whole podcast is all about just having a chat. We've got celebrity interviews. We've got extraordinary stories. So if you feel like something's happened to you that you want to talk about, get in touch with me on Twitter or Instagram. My handle is It's Lee Peart. And yes, please subscribe as well. I'm going to be releasing these as and when, and we've got lots more to come. But first is my first guest who knows a thing or two about chatting. Her name is Nadia Sawalha. She is a loose woman. That's where I met her. But there is so much more to her than just that. She's brilliant. We had a great time. We had a laugh. We talked about her going sober for 100 days. We talk about her upbringing and her love for cooking, her friendship with Kay Adams, and then we somehow got into her dressing as a nurse in stocking and suspenders, and a huge lie she told, which actually got quite out of hand. It was with her sister Julia, which actually bagged her first acting role. So I hope you enjoyed. This is Let's Talk with Lee Peart with my first guest, Nadia Sawalha. So I'm here with Nadia Sawalha. Welcome.
Welcome to my dressing room, Lee.
Just for everyone listening, I want to just point out I'm in Nadia's dressing room. We've just done Loose Women. You said it's pigsty. I think it's all right. I've seen a lot worse.
Yeah, but I cleared up.
Oh, okay. So this is after.
Yeah, don't forget I've only been here since 10 o'clock this morning. This isn't a dressing room I have for the whole year because we all move around. So, but thank you for saying my dressing room is cleaned up. You're a charmer.
Well, thank you for doing this for me. You're my first guest.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Nadia, for anyone who doesn't know, you're an actress, presenter, loose woman, chef.
Well, home cook.
Home cook.
Good home cook.
Okay. So you wouldn't describe yourself as a chef?
No, and actually for those of you who don't know, I did win Celebrity Master Chef, but the key is in the title there, Celebrity Master Chef. So we've got to bring that down quite a few notches.
Okay.
And the thing is, I get, it's like sometimes when I'm cooking on telly and they introduce me as a chef, I get a bit anxious about it because I think I just don't have those credentials. You know, I haven't had the training. I haven't done blood, sweat and tears in a restaurant. What I am is a goodish home cook, and I think that's why I've had 5 cookery books. Well, because I'm accessible.
This is what I was going to say, though. You're an author of cookbooks. You're more of a chef than I am. Okay.
Well, I think why I've had 5 is because I'm not a chef. So people go, "Oh God, she can do it, so I can do it." Because we've got loads of brilliant chefs now in this country, but it can be really daunting. I mean, I've got lovely chefy cookery books. I never cook anything out of them. I just read them and look at the nice pictures.
What, just the pictures of food?
Yeah, I don't cook their recipes because I don't, oh God, I can't be asked to do all this complicated stuff.
Well, you were kind enough to gift me your recent one with Kay.
Yes.
Kay Adams, fellow loose woman.
Yes.
One of your best friends, would you say?
Yeah, God, absolutely.
How long have you been friends for?
20 years.
20 years.
Because we both met on Loose Women, and I think this is the 20th year of Loose Women.
It is? Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, so we did we were the very first 2 Loose Women to be cast.
Along with Jane Moore and Karen Brady.
Yeah.
I want to talk about your cookbook with Kay because I actually made your fabulous fish stew.
Yeah.
Which is hard to say. Fresh stew.
That's a good thing to choose for your first podcast. I made your fabulous fish stew.
But it went down a treat. But for me, and I always struggle with cooking because I can do it, and I always think everyone can cook. I don't particularly think it's impossible. I just think it's science, essentially. But for me, it was the stress. I was stressing myself out over the timings,
Okay, when you think about it, the first time you rode a bike, did you get on it and it was totally fine? You just rode off and you whistled along and it was fine?
Well, I guess so.
The first time you tried to do a shuffleboard change, could you do it instantly?
I like the level you're going there. You're like, he doesn't get that bike reference. Let's do dance instead.
Shuffleboard change. The second time you sang an aria. I mean, the thing is, I think people get really caught up with, if there's anything else in life that you did it and then you went, oh God, I'm shit at that, I'm never going to do that again, we wouldn't learn anything. But people have this way of thinking with cooking.
Yeah.
So my thing is, just choose 2 dishes, 3 dishes, and just cook them over and over again, and they will become fantastic. Just like if you keep trying a shuffleboard change, eventually you'll get a shuffleboard change.
Well, I like that logic because I've been recently teaching myself piano.
Ooh.
And I've only learnt kind of 3 songs. And then I can just go to a party, do a couple of songs, and people are like,
think you're amazing.
Do another. And you're like, oh, no, I couldn't possibly.
Do you get extra sex?
Well, not yet. I'm probably. It's only because I play Adele, because they're the slow songs. So usually people are away.
That's a big one. That's a big number.
Someone like you, yeah.
Oh my God, Adele.
So no sex there, unfortunately.
No,
I think it puts
I think
people off.
it will give you pulling. It will give you pulling power.
Yeah.
Skills, they're good. Aren't
Well, cooking, I suppose, does that, if you don't poison them. How did the cookbook come about? Did you have the idea before, or did someone approach you and Kay together?
The latest one?
Yeah.
I think they approached us, actually, yeah. Because we'd only just really started cooking online. And so we thought, oh, maybe further down the line, we will do a cookery book. And we were quite surprised to do one so soon after starting to cook on YouTube. But yeah, I mean, it's very much the cookbook that Kay wanted.
Yeah.
So it was very annoying because she's like, oh, I don't want anything with fenugreek, and she became obsessed with the word fenugreek. I don't want anything, and she said, because she's the most terrible cook. That's why we called it Disaster. And she said, you forget, people that can cook, you forget how basic we do want it, because most of us just can't cook. Yeah, we are now a nation where we like our food more, we've got great restaurants, we have loads of cookery shows, but actually people aren't, in general, cooking any more than they were. So she said, I don't want any more than 6 to 7 ingredients, I don't want it to take longer than half an hour. And so a lot of the recipes probably aren't as... haven't got quite as many ingredients as I would if I was doing it at home. But a lot of the recipes are just what I bung out for my family as well.
Well, I watch, because we're going to talk about this, your vlog and everything with your family, and you often do Instagram lives and YouTube lives, and you're always cooking, and you cook separate meals and stuff like that. So when I grew up, my mum, I wanted to be a vegetarian. And my mum said, I'm not cooking 2 meals. Yeah. But you just, I imagine living in your house is like some sort of pop-up restaurant all the time. You just but you just love it, don't you? I don't get the enjoyment as much out of it, I guess, while doing it.
But does anyone really enjoy something that they haven't quite mastered? No. I mean, did you enjoy your shuffleboard change when you couldn't do it? And then when you can do it, oh my God, it's the best feeling in the world, because I'm just doing it and everything's going right, I'm doing this and that. So, that's why I always say, just choose a couple of recipes, keep doing, and then you get to the point, like I've got, as you'll know from my YouTube channel, I've got a very open plan house. So I've got lots of people in and out, so I'm cooking and I'm talking, because I'm almost doing it by, like when you're driving, well, not me because I'm a terrible driver, and people are like doing 10 other things. That's what it's like now for me cooking. And I remember very keenly as a young child, my mum was a brilliant cook. That's all the girls leaving loose women.
I was just about to say.
Bye Christine, bye Carol. My mum, though a very good cook, was very much of that school of you just eat what you're given. And I remember sitting with a plate of congealed vine leaves, crying because I didn't want to eat these stuffed vine leaves, and I'm promising myself, when I have children, I'm never going to make them eat anything they don't want. And here I am regretting that, because I usually cook 3 or 4 different meals a night.
Oh, well, I mean, vine leaves. I don't think I ever had a vine leaf till I was about 19. Because I'm from Grimsby.
Yeah.
So,
which I thought was a joke when you said that today.
I know, yeah. No, I am. I'm from Grimsby. Well, I grew up in Cleethorpes. I was born in Grimsby. Cleethorpes is kind of next to it. And I was out in Shoreditch the other week, and I heard...
Wow, from Grimsby to Shoreditch.
I know. Moving up in the world.
No, it's Shoreditch.
I know, but I heard... He must have been about 8 years old, and I heard this young kid say to his mum, I'm really craving sushi. And I remember thinking, I didn't have sushi since I was about 20 years old. It just didn't exist. I mean, Grimsby doesn't have a Nando's, it doesn't have a Starbucks, let alone stuffed vine leaves. Well,
I did have a very exotic childhood. My dad is Arabic. My dad, until he was 6 years old, grew up in the desert. He was a Bedouin, travelling Bedouin. And I had a lot of his family moved over to England as well, and so every Sunday we would have all the family round, and in fact my first ever cookery book was called Stuff Finally Saved My Life, and it's all about, very much about growing up in an Anglo-Arab family and all the food, and everything happened in the kitchen. So I learnt cooking by osmosis. My aunties and uncles and cousins and everyone would come round, arrive with these dishes, you know, just dishes held high. You'd watch them walking down the lane with their, you know, beautiful baklava or the lamb and rice.
In my head, it's like you know, Prince Ali in Aladdin. It's like that at the minute.
A bit like that. Yeah, it was a bit like that though. And so I grew up with this very exotic food. My mum is British, but a real Francophile, loved everything French. So she, like in the week, we would have, because she loved cooking, we would have like sort of French bistro sort of food, you know, coq au vin and pissalade, which is basically bread with onions and anchovies, and she would make her own bread and make her own ice cream and knit her own bloody muesli, the lot. So I had this really good mixture of British food, French food and Arabic food, and really our family motto was, you know, good food feeds the soul as well as the body. And so, and that's true, that is so true. Getting together, cooking together, eating together, it's just been a big part of my life.
Yeah, and I guess I've got quite a few friends. I always say I eat to live as opposed to people who live to eat. And but I do get it, and I have, as I've grown up, I guess, grown into the social side of eating. You said there that through osmosis you kind of got your love for cookery through your father and your mother, but also your dad was an actor, wasn't he?
Still is.
He's
87, yeah. So we had a great time. A lot of the time my dad was an out of work actor, like all actors, so we saw a lot of my dad. But he also, almost every year, he would do a movie. So wherever he was doing a film, we would then go on, that would be our summer holiday. So Sinbad and the Eye of Tiger, we were in Malta. The Wind and the Lion with Sean Connery, we were in Spain. And so we had this, and this is, I'm talking about a supporting actor, he's not a big famous movie star. So in a way that was even better, because what you've got is a bit of that life without all the pressure that you would have if you were the child of a famous actor. Yeah. So yeah, it was a really unusual and very happy childhood in lots of ways.
And did that, I'm guessing, inspire you? Did you always want to be an actress because he did that?
No.
So you didn't?
No, okay. I didn't want to be an actress. I wanted to be a nurse. That's all I wanted to do. Like, I'm the sort of person that can, if somebody's looking around somewhere to be sick, because they're about to be sick, I'll hold my hands up for them to be sick in them.
Okay, that's good to know. Often I'm hungover during Loose Women, so we used to have a sink in the old studio behind, can you remember it? London Studios, and I used to always think if ever it got too much hungover, we don't have a sink now, so if you're on the show, I can just use. Really? Okay, so you were...
So, and I love, like, if somebody grazed their knees, I love to get the TCP out, and I love to just look after people. I mean, I'm really into I've had therapy, my husband's had a lot of therapy, my husband's in recovery, so I know all these labels now. Like, I didn't realise as a child I was the rescuer in the family.
Right.
So I would love looking after people. And so I really wanted to be a nurse, and all the not my mum and dad, because my mum and dad are very much do whatever you want, but the extended family with which I spent a lot of time say, you don't want to be a nurse, what is this, you cannot be a nurse, you cannot. And I used to get really upset. I remember I used to go to my room and cry and think, nobody thinks being a nurse is a good job.
I know, I was going to say a nurse is a massive job.
Yeah. And then one day I was doing a school show. I did this show, I came out, said my first line, and the whole place just burst out laughing. And I was just like, what's that?
Yeah.
That's a good feeling. And I really enjoyed the show anyway. Came out into the auditorium, and my mum was standing in the auditorium with the biggest smile you've ever seen on her face. And my mum wasn't that smiley when I was growing up, and she was old-fashioned mum. She's not now. I mean, she's great, but she was old-fashioned mum. You know, you didn't give too many compliments. Like, my mum's idea of a compliment, like if I say, Mum, how do I look in this? She would say, oh, I'm sure there'd be far worse sights than you there.
Mine's quite similar to that, actually.
Yeah, she was a war baby, you know, so it was she never gave me compliments. And I came into the auditorium and she went, oh my God, that was so good. And that second, I was like, I was going to be an actor.
Oh.
So it was literally as clear as that, and then everything changed, and I was going to be an actor.
And you were in EastEnders for 2 years?
Yeah, 2.5 years.
2.5 years?
Yeah.
Playing Annie Palmer. How was that?
Well, it was very useful to me because before that I'd been a jobbing theatre actress, which I love. Theatre is my first love. I'd love to... I could be in the theatre all day long, because once you've been on telly you can get theatre jobs, but I can't because I'm bringing up my kids, and it's like the worst time because you're out in the evening and all that. So theatre is... I go to the theatre all the time. I can sometimes sit there crying because I want to be on stage because I love theatre. So I'd been a theatre actress, then I'd done a little film with Ewan McGregor, and then from that... Oh no, I was a theatre actress, then I got a telly job with my sister Julia, who's an actress.
Of course.
And it was that was my first telly job. And Julia rang me up one day, and it was a series she was in called Press Gang, and she'd been in a couple of series. And she said, oh look, this part's come up for this Italian girl. I'd never done any telly before. She said, you won't get the part, there's no way you'll get the part because you have to be, they want her to be 16, I can't remember what age I was, but she said, it's a really good opportunity for you to meet the casting director. So I was like, oh shit, she goes, but you can't say you're my sister. So I said, all right. So I said, what's the part? She goes, Italian. I said, all right, I'll change my name. So I changed my name to Nadia Carina, right, because I thought it sounded Italian.
Very good.
Anyway, she came in from rehearsals, and I said to her, oh, give me your shirt, that's right for the audition. So if you think about it, she's been with the director in the morning. We look so alike, it's ridiculous, and we certainly did then. So I borrow this shirt, and I go in for this audition, and they're like, yeah, so, oh yeah, I'm half Italian, blah, 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 give all this bullshit story. Anyway, only get the fucking part. So then we're like, what are we going to do?
So she's in it.
She's in it.
Right.
So we're like, what the hell are we going to do? And at the time, we were living together as well. So she said, oh, we can't be shown to be like, we just have to pretend we don't know each other. So she used to drop me off from rehearsals. I remember it was at the Oval, and then she would go in, and then I would come in. And I'd keep forgetting, and I'd say things like, oh God, those shoes. She goes, you wouldn't say that. I'm like the lead in the series. You just wouldn't talk to me like that. You're the new actress in. And oh my God,
why did once the contract was signed, did you never think? Oh,
it gets really worse. I was not sleeping. I was so worried about it. And then the first day I was on location with our God rest her soul, Linda Bellingham, because Julia was playing Linda Bellingham's daughter. So our first day, we weren't in the studio, we were recording out on location. So she's chatting away to me, typical Linda. She said, oh, so you're Italian? Uh-huh. And I said, my dad was Italian. Oh, really? My husband's Italian. What part of Italy? And I went, can you believe this? I said, I don't know, he was a one-night stand. What? And she said, a one-night stand and you've taken his name? I was like, oh my God. And then they called me to the set and it was fine. But the next day, Julia goes into rehearsals and Linda Bellingham and the boy that was playing Julia's brother, you won't believe who they've cast as Gina. It's freaky. This bird looks exactly like you. She's even got your voice. It's freaking us out. And Julia was like, more lies, more lies. The lies went on and on, weeks and weeks. We're working with these people, lying our back teeth out. It was just awful. And we got to the end of rehearsal because it was done in front of a live studio audience, the actual recording. And the day before the writers came in, they were watching me for about 5 minutes, and then they stopped the rehearsals. Can you believe it? And now this is my nightmare. I'm going to be bloody sacked. And they took Julia off, and they said, "We want you to be honest with us. Is that girl your sister?" She had to say yes. They said, it's just ridiculous how much the two of you look alike. But the casting director and the director hadn't even noticed in the audition, and I was wearing the same shirt, so we had to come clean. Oh, it was awful. I thought, and Julia was like, but you're not going to sack her, are you? You're not going to sack her because you know, we've already filmed the location stuff. It would be really bad. It would cost you a fortune. And they didn't sack me. And in fact, they invited me back, and I did quite a few more episodes. So
they probably liked the fact that you were so passionate about it that you were willing to besmirch your father's name.
I don't think anyone was that happy. But then I was lumbered with the name, because then that's how you got equity in those days, which is the union card. For anyone that doesn't know, is very difficult to get as an actor. So for years I was Nadia Karina. Lots of my jobs I'm Nadia Karina.
Oh, really?
Because I
So
couldn't
if anyone's
call myself-
listening and wants to find the archives of... No, I was going to ask, did you ever play a nurse? Because that is one of the
Yes.
great... Oh, okay. So you
Yeah,
kind of did
in
fulfill a dream.
In a sitcom called, oh God, what were the really famous two guys? David Croft and Jeremy, I can't think of his name now, that did all the Dad's Army.
Oh,
Yeah, and the Dad's Army and a lot of those really, LOLO.
yeah.
And it was a pilot, and I spent most of the time in suspenders and a bra. And it was
Typical nurse outfit.
Very like LOLO.
Oh, okay.
And it's a shame. I think it was called Which Way to the War or something like that. It was a shame because it didn't get picked up, because that would have been amazing for me if that had been picked up, to get a big sitcom like that. And I remember being absolutely devastated when that didn't come off. Yeah.
During these podcasts, I usually offer someone a drink, and I know you like a drink, but you're currently on, is it 100 days sober?
Well, I'm not 100 days yet. On the 9th of April.
But you're doing
100
it.
days.
Do you know how many days you're in?
Obviously, we don't know when this podcast's going out, so
yeah,
I am 85 days in, just in case you're listening to this at a different time in the year.
Indeed.
So,
Well, it's currently the 28th of March, so you're 89 days, did you say?
is that right? The last drink I had was New Year's Eve. How's your mental
Wow.
maths? So, do you
How
know
is it?
what?
How have you...
It's been totally and utterly extraordinary and gone beyond all my wildest dreams of
Really?
what it would be like. Yeah, I basically, just before Christmas, I got really, really plastered like I was still 17, fell down the stairs, nearly died. I could have died, could have broken my neck, and I don't even remember it.
This is at your house?
Yeah.
You weren't even out.
Oh no, I went out and then I came in.
Oh, okay.
Where I wasn't even drunk. I stepped out and the air hit me and I was
Yeah.
absolutely blinded drunk. And, you know, these things happen sometimes. It wasn't a big deal, but it just got me thinking, and I thought, God, it's funny. Anyway, then I saw, I love social media so much. I saw something pop up on social media called, and if anybody is thinking about trying something different or worried about their drinking or just wants to have a bit of a break, I cannot recommend this book highly enough. It's called The Unexpected Joy of Being Sober. And I read this book cover to cover because I was going to do Dry January. And she talks about how you really feel the difference in 100 days. And my God, that's the case, because everyone I know that's ever done Dry January goes, well, I didn't lose a pound. Well, I didn't feel any different. And I think because you need to tip into 6 weeks, 7 weeks, 8 weeks before you start feeling different. I mean, I've lost nearly a stone in weight.
Wow.
I am sleeping so much better. My skin is better. Everything is better. Everything is better. So...
And once the 100 days are up, do you think your attitude to drinking may change?
Well, that's my dream. I mean, the one thing I'm not going to do is on 101 days go, right, everyone, I'm going out, which is what everyone wants me
And
to
fall
do.
down the stairs again?
I would really like it if I didn't even... I mean, it doesn't matter. If the next day there's a big wedding or a party or a dinner party, I'm going to have a drink. But what I would prefer is that I don't think of it like that, but the next time I want a drink, I kind of have a drink. I want to rethink drinking.
Yeah.
I mean, the chief medical officer a couple of years ago came out and said that there were 8 cancers totally connected to alcohol, and he was sacked. You know, I mean, these are facts. And I've drunk really heavy all my life. I was a big partier. I was a big partier in the old days. And I just feel at the moment really blessed that I'm well, touch wood.
Yeah, of
and
course.
so I feel obliged to be really healthy at this part of my life because I had children when I was older and I don't want to die.
That is a book that I might look into, because I'm the same with you, and we follow each other on social media. You probably see how often I'm out as well. But for me, it's the willpower. So for example, I was walking to lunch a few weeks back, and in my head I was going, I'll just have a sparkling water, and the waiter came up. I was the first to arrive and said, can I get you a drink? And I said, oh, I'll have a sparkling water please, and a gin and tonic. And it was almost like it just spilt out, and it clicked when I thought...
Well, that's why this book is really good, because it's not preachy in any way at all, and it just shows us that. So what I would say to you is, next time you go, say to yourself, don't say, I'm not going to have a gin and tonic. Say, I'm going to start with the water, and then I'm going to have a gin and tonic.
Yeah.
Because that's what I do. Every time I go, if I want a gin... Nobody's put this 100 days on except me. You know, so I go, if I want a gin and tonic, I'll have one. But actually, once I've got through that first 5 minutes, it's really easy to then not have the drink. But I couldn't have done it at your age.
I know.
And you're still out on the dating scene and you're going out clubbing. There's no way.
And trust me, I need drinks for that.
Yeah. I mean, you do. It's hell. It must be hell being on the dating scene now in this world.
That was actually a date, where I was going for lunch.
Well, my husband, who's in recovery, always says, I just don't know. And loads of people contact us because we do these mental health films on our YouTube channel. Loads of people contact us and say, I'm inspired by you not drinking, but I just can't cope with the dating. And I go, Mark and I always say, God, can you imagine that? He said, I couldn't have done it. I just couldn't have done it. But then now, again, out there on social media, there are so many different groups of young, gorgeous, trendy, funky people that aren't drinking. And there's dating apps for people that don't drink.
Yeah.
We make all the wrong choices when we go on a date pissed.
Yeah, of course. And also, it's for me, it's not necessarily the getting drunk. It's, I don't necessarily need that to kind of relax. I could be okay, but it's almost when if you were like, you feel judged if you're not having a drink.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, you don't drink, or anything like that. And even I do it to people where if they said to me, oh, you don't drink, I automatically think we're not right for each other because I get blind drunk, pissed out of my face, and you won't like that.
And you'll be sober.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's the disconnect, and that's where we've gone wrong in this, in very much in this country. We've got a massive problem with drink in this country. And when she talks in this book, The Joy of Being Sober, it's like, when I first said I was going sober here, everyone was going, but we've got the NTAs.
Yeah,
but we've got that party, but we've got that christening, but we've got that wedding. We tend to think in this country, every single momentous thing must have a drink with it.
I know. I'm the same. I was
crazy.
Like, January, I've got birthday present, birthday party. February, I'm going away for the weekend. March, Mother's Day. Like, I start making it. April, Easter. It's Easter. That big,
Who doesn't get
big
Easter?
holiday on Easter.
Yeah.
Can't do it. We'll have to wait till May.
Yeah,
oh no, May's my 5-year-old niece's birthday.
Yeah.
It's
That's
ridiculous.
the dis-ease that we have within ourselves. So when I'm so ashamed of the 1,000 times I've gone to people, you don't have any drink. Are you mad? But actually, no, they're not mad. I'm mad because I want them to quell my anxiety about myself by having a drink.
That's
and I'll never in my life ever push a drink on anyone ever again. In France they have it right. You put your hand over your drink and that nobody will ever ask you. So when you go, I'll top up and you put your hand on your drink. Here, in this country, we'll rip the hand off. In France, it is the height of bad manners to ask that person again if they want a drink. And we just gotta bring it down a bit.
We've just got to calm down. You mentioned your social media and YouTube. I want to talk about that because this is quite a new thing that you've been on social media a while, but you've got your YouTube channel, Nadia Sawalha and Family.
Yeah. A year now.
Oh, has it been a year?
Yeah, we can't believe
My research is terrible.
No.
I can't believe it's been that...
it doesn't feel that long, but I am so enormously proud of it. It's ridiculous. We put out content every single day.
You do?
Luckily, my husband's a filmmaker and very skilled editor, so we're able to put out content like most people would just dream of because Mark can edit like a nutter. So we review films, we review film trailers, we do mental health, as I said earlier, we do food, we do a nightly vlog, Tuesdays to Fridays, called Home Time, so it's just what we do when we get home. And then from Saturday through to Monday, we do all our weekend vlogs, and that would be the whole day. It's a lot of work,
And you do your live videos, and I've watched a lot of those live videos. It pops up and it'll say... Nadia's live, so I'll watch, and you get a lot of people on there like chipping in, and it is, and I've seen a lot of comments where they've said that they've replaced television in the evening to watching your vlogs.
And do you know what? Have a look through some of the comments. We have so few unpleasant people. We've really got a community. Like, a massive thing happened for us last week. My youngest, Kiki, is the biggest fan you will find of a show called Stranger Things, and we did filmed a reaction to the new trailer of the new show. Anyone with kids will know exactly what I'm talking about Stranger Things. Posted it on our YouTube, and that day I got this film from Millie Bobby Brown. You know, Millie Bobby Brown
plays 11.
It plays 11, like 16 million followers on Instagram. And she sent this film to Kiki. Kiki was still shaking 2 days later. That's how much it meant to her. And we posted it up on our YouTube, and I thought, oh, here we go, we're going to get a lot of hate. Do you know, not one nasty. All that people said was, oh my God, this is so amazing for Kiki. I'm a huge advocate of social media. My children have made some amazing friends through social media. We are having the time of our lives, being able to be creative in a way that often television doesn't let you. So for us as a family as well, we've got recorded our lives. So our kids, when we're dead and gone, have got like this incredible sort of, archive of content of their lives. So, and this community that we've got going. So it really couldn't be going back for us, and we're going to expand even further. We're going to make documentaries. We're going to do we're starting a drama series on there. So yeah, it's bloody hard work, but we love it.
Has it become almost habitual now, where you just do it, or do you have moments where
we never plan it? Never.
Really?
We never ever say we will do this for our vlog. We literally just turn the camera on.
And do you ever have moments where it's like, right, there's this period in the day where you go no vlogging, or do you?
Yeah, we don't vlog all day long. I mean, the weekly one, it's just in the evening, just when we get back, and there's certainly a time when we turn off. But
I've watched a few where you're just cooking and you're just chatting away. And I know Mark was away, went away with his mum to New York.
Yeah.
And it was almost for you like you had company in a weird way, where people are chipping in.
Well, it's really strange to watch your family's holiday.
Yeah.
So they came back. There was nothing I needed to ask them because I'd seen it all in the vlog.
Well, that is the bad thing about social media, where you go, oh, I went to such and such, and sorry, and you're like, oh yeah, okay. Oh, by the way, I've got to say, I've done. Oh yeah, I saw that on your Facebook.
And you had pheasant on Tuesday. It looked lovely.
Yes, lovely pheasant. One of the things I love, I've worked for Loose Women for a few years now, and you are so open, you're just so willing to talk, and I think you're amazing. I think you're lovely. You're nice to everyone backstage in the crew, and you don't get that a lot in telly. Like, you don't get. Sometimes you're just not spoken to or whatever. You speak to everyone. What would you say for? Because even I get, and you must get loads, when people see that I work in telly or whatever. Yeah. I get people asking me all the time, how do I get into TV, or what's the best piece of advice for TV? And I never know what to say because I rock up and I leave and just do that.
Such an inexact science, isn't it, getting into telly?
What would be the main bit of advice you would give to someone? Because I know what mine is, and I say this to everyone. Like, my college asked me to go back a few years ago to kind of do a speech to the to the newer students from someone who had been there years, and I just say, be nice to everyone. But what would you say was the one bit of advice that you would give if you just had to give one nugget of advice?
What I cannot believe is how many people there are in the world that are not polite, that are not present, and are not engaged. So say you get a chance, say something comes up and they're looking for, say, a runner in telly. When we get a runner that has got that, we all talk about it, and it's spread. It is actually, once you're in the building, it is actually relatively easy, surprisingly, to get a job and to move through. If you are, like you say, really nice, really polite, don't overstep the mark, have a chat. This is what I'm talking about if you just come in as a runner, and be thinking about what you could be doing, not waiting to be told what to do. All those things are invaluable. My husband and I run a production company as well. We make programs for television. My husband literally doesn't give a shit about what qualification somebody's got, whether they've done a media degree. He just doesn't care. He said, it just doesn't mean anything to me. Everything is about, and we could tell within seconds whether somebody's got that thing where they're passionate. And somebody I was talking to the other day, I have to be really careful, I'm not saying any names or give any hint of who it was. Somebody that has joined a show in this building, and it's a really big job they've got. And I said, so how's it going? How is it? Oh yeah, it's great. I get an hour and a half extra in bed. And I thought, wrong answer. with this amazing job that you've got, that is the only thing you've got to say.
That's the highlight.
Yeah, so it's about loving stuff. Like you say, I'm friendly with everybody in the crew. I love people.
Yeah.
I really love people. And like sometimes when I wake up in the morning, I feel shit and I feel anxious, like I did this morning, to be honest, before coming out. I say to myself, I'm going to go out and I'm going to put out what I want back. So I walked to the station, put in a meditation, had a bit of a think about myself, smiled at a few people, they smiled back. When I see presenters or actors moving around a building, everybody's invisible to them. I feel sorry for them. I don't feel sorry for the people that are invisible, because I think you're getting 20% of your experience. Because if you chat, how are you, and you get all that lovely energy back from people, it's like a feeding. You feed them, they feed you, and back and forth.
Yeah, totally.
So I think be present, like you say, be really nice and be keen. It's not uncool to be keen. It's uncool to be just...
It's not uncool to give a shit either.
No.
You know, and you're right about...
Better to be warm than cool.
Oh.
Don't you think?
Oh. Well, on that note, better to be warm than cool.
Yeah.
Which actually is pretty literal here, because the aircon was making noise and I've turned it up to 23 degrees and I'm getting slightly warm. Nadia, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you. I'm really chuffed I'm your first.
Nadia, if I was going to choose anyone to be my first, it would always be you, dressed as a nurse in stockings and suspenders. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I love you, babes.
Don't you want my mantra for life?
Oh, yes. I kind of was going to... I'm going to end all these with a life mantra, and I love the fact that you said that, because I saw Nadia in the corridor this morning. I said, Nadia, and she went, don't tell me anything about it. Let's do it organically. And I said, well, I just want a mantra for life.
Yeah.
Gone, what is your life mantra?
Well, the thing is, I love this so much. It's not mine, but it is. Those that mind don't matter, and those that matter don't mind. And it helps you through all that stuff. You think, what does that person think of me? What's that? But for years and years and years, I thought it was Gandhi that had said this. But I've discovered last year that it's Dr. Seuss.
Those are often confused.
Dr. Seuss, but it's a great mantra, because it just reminds you that those that we care about, we can make mistakes. Those that we don't care about, what does it matter if we make a fool of ourselves? What does it matter?
Yeah.
You know, and I think in the world of social media, where we feel everyone's so outraged and judgy and all of that, it's a really good thing to keep thinking. Those that mind don't matter. Those that matter don't mind.
Thank you, Nadia.
Thank you.